Hey, so just I wanted to make another video today, because in my previous video I went off on a tangent and really just said a bunch of random different things. um, but just about my anxiety and my heart palpitations, which of course go hand in hand. I have noticed that stress makes both of them worse. It really, really does. And a lot of people probably have heard, stress isn't good for you, blah, blah, blah. But for me personally, it's not good for anybody, but stress intensifies my anxiety so much. And then it also makes my heart palpitations worse. So, they really go hand in hand. And I never thought that that was true. You always hear stress is bad, etc., but you don't really realize how bad it is, at least in my case. I'll have, normal days where I just do my normal, everyday stuff. And while I always have anxiety every minute of every day, whenever I went to therapy, they always do it on a level from 1 to 10. So let's just say my average everyday non-anxiety level is like a 2. So I'm always anxious. But 2 for me is really, really good. So whenever I'm under stress, I feel it rising like an 8. Like I'm just anxious, and once I hit about an 8, and by the way, I hate the whole numbers thing, because really 1 is 1 and 2 the same as 7, 8. Like, I hate it, but this is just the best way that I could verbally put it to you. It's just like, I'm sorry, another tangent I have to go off on. My nephew, who is 6 years old now, just got his tonsils taken out, and whenever he was in the hospital, they had a piece of paper that they showed him and said, which one do you feel like? And it was a bunch of smiley faces. The one smiley face was really, really mad. The next one wasn't as mad. The other one was just neutral. The next one was happy, and then the other one was really, really happy. And if you know any 5-year-old, they'll know that they'll never really tell you whenever they're hurt, and when they're not hurt, they'll just say they are hurt to get attention. So anyways, my nephew could barely talk, and they showed him, this paper with the smiley faces and said, which one do you feel? And he pointed to the happiest face. And he just had his tonsils taken out, and he couldn't even swallow his own spit. So obviously he wasn't the happiest face. Anyways, just a cute story. But when I have went to therapy, they have always said, like on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your anxiety level? And it's just like, look, it's just really bad. I don't know, whatever number you want to say it is. I don't know. It's bad. So anyways, for the purpose of this video, that's why I'm saying the number level. So when I reach a number 8, I just know that it's inevitable that a panic attack is going to happen. Just earlier tonight, like I was talking about in the previous video, I felt like I was going to have a panic attack about 10 minutes before I made the video, and talking about it helps to calm me down, because I feel like somebody out there understands me, and that really does help. So anyways, there's always a reason for it seems like there's always a reason for my anxiety, even though a lot of times there's really no reason, like no real reason. In my mind, there's a reason, and that's why I have the panic attacks. So today was an okay day. I did go to the doctor's earlier, and that gave me a little bit of anxiety. But for the most part, it was just an average day today. And just doing my normal stuff. I was on the computer, I was laying down, and I got this pain, like right here, like where my rib cage is. And I do have something called costochondritis, where you can get like inflammation in between your rib cage, and it's like this really bad pain, but it only lasts for a few seconds and it goes away. So see, I have like little ailments, but nothing that's really bad, but all these little ailments contribute to this anxiety. It makes it all intensified. So anyways, I have costochondritis, and that's probably what this was. But this was my thinking. Okay, so I'm laying down, everything's fine. I'm feeling average, like my level is a 2, and then I get this pain on my side, and I always get pains all the time, but after, I don't know, a minute or two, they go away. Well, I had this pain, and at first I got a little bit, anxious about it. But, it was a minute or two, and I'm like, okay, it's going to go away, and it didn't go away. I try to get my mind off of it, because usually if I do something, focus on something, by the time I think about it again, like my pain, wherever it is in my body, will go away. Well, it wasn't going away, and this pain lasted like half an hour. So of course, pains usually go away. I'm fine. That's, how I make my mind, rationalize it. But it wasn't going away. And that is the number one thing I have realized with my anxiety, is that if I knew 100% of the time that it was just anxiety, I feel like I could get through it. But when you're in that mode, when you're actually having the panic attack, you don't realize that it's necessarily anxiety. It's like in the back of your mind, it's anxiety, but I always feel like, well, this time is different. I know that I have anxiety, but this time is different, because this time the pain is lasting longer, or, my heart palpitations will last longer, or I can't breathe, and, whatever it is, I always convince myself in the moment of panic that this is different than anxiety, and it's really not anxiety, even though I know that it is anxiety. I know that sounds confusing, but people that have anxiety probably know exactly what I'm talking about. Please comment below and let me know if you know what I mean. But I came up with something, and this is probably a bad idea, but I think that it's a good idea. A lot of times, like with my anxiety, I'll have triggers. And one of the triggers is when I feel like I can't breathe. And I don't have asthma, so I don't know why at times I feel like I can't breathe. To be honest, I feel like, I know this sounds so silly, but if I'm watching something on TV and somebody's having an asthma attack, or something happened where they can't breathe, it will trigger something in my mind, and then I'll be like, and then I'll just keep trying to breathe in really deep, like making sure I can. Okay, that's so silly, I know. But like, something will happen. Like anytime I see something on TV, somebody has a punctured lung, or whatever it is, I'll just think that I have that. Yeah, I do. So my idea was, if I had all of these things, like these little medical devices that I could use at home, I could force my mind to believe that it really is just anxiety and nothing's wrong, because I can see something firsthand. I don't know if a lot of people are like this, but I know that I'm the type of person where I need proof of anything, and not just with my anxiety, but just anything in life. When somebody tells me something, I don't believe them. It's not that I think they're lying or they're trying to be, I mean, I know they're not trying to purposely lie to me, but I just don't believe a lot of things people tell me. And, to be honest, it's like 50-50. Half the things people tell me are just not true, and the other half is true. And the reason that I know that is because I'll research it, or I'll, ask somebody else that's reputable about a subject. So that's just the type of person I am. I don't know if that has anything to do with my anxiety or not. So if you're like that, also let me know. Post in the comments below. Anyway, so my point was, if I had medical devices that I could use at home, I feel like I could force my mind to believe that it was anxiety, and after a while not need them. For example, I used to wear an exercise watch that monitored my heart rate, and I still have it, and I wore it for like 2 years, it wasn't until recently, maybe a couple weeks ago, that I lost it, like within my house somewhere. And I would go out and I would be okay without it, and I realized I don't really need it. And even for a long time when I did wear it, I wouldn't even check my heart rate. At the beginning when I started wearing the watch, I would check my heart rate all the time. And then it got to where I'm wearing it, but I don't really check it, and so now I don't wear it anymore. So it took me a really long time, and that was, because of my sinus tachycardia, which gives me anxiety, but now I don't wear it anymore. It doesn't mean that I'm never going to wear it again, but for the most part, I'm okay without it. So, for my breathing thing, that is something that makes me have anxiety, because I'll feel like I can't breathe, and, I'll start taking really deep breaths, which give me more anxiety because I'm just focusing on it. So I was looking online, and you can buy the O2 sensors to see how much oxygen you really are getting. And just the other day when I went to the doctor's office, they put, one of those little O2 oximeter, I think it's called, on your finger, and it reads the percentage. And I thought to myself that if one of these times where I'm having those episodes where I feel like I can't breathe, if I just put that on my finger and I seen that it was a good number, then I can convince myself, like, hey, I really am fine, this is just silly, this is anxiety, and, be okay. But that probably could backfire on me too, because what if it malfunctioned and then let's just say I thought I couldn't breathe, but I really could because it was my anxiety. Let's just say it read 50. I mean, can you imagine, like, my anxiety would go through the roof? So I don't know, but I think that might be a good idea. I don't know, maybe it's a bad idea. But the heart rate watch worked for me. So another thing is, so when I had the heart rate watch, it could tell me what my heart rate was per minute. And, I have the sinus tachycardia, but if it wasn't over 100 beats a minute when I was resting, and it wasn't below like 60, like I knew I was okay. But sometimes my heart rate per minute would be fine, but it felt like my heart was doing all these like funny little flips and, beating real fast, and just like I was having the heart palpitations. So I wanted to have one of those, okay, I know I probably sound crazy, but I hope some people out there can relate to me. But I wanted to have one of those heart rate machines that you can buy these for home use. I don't know how accurate they are, but it actually shows you like the heart rate wave. I don't know exactly what it's called, but that little doot, doot, that thing. It shows you that, and I figured that if I had one of those when I felt my heart doing that, if it really was normal and I seen like the little P waves, I think they're called, and everything was fine, then I could convince myself, look, I am fine. And then after a while, when I feel that, I could just instantly go to it's anxiety and not go to this whole, oh no, it's different this time. Because again, that's what I always do, which just puts me into this huge panic attack. So I don't know. Do you think that that's a good idea? I don't know. Those are just thoughts, and I guess I just wanted some opinions, and if anybody else does things like that too. And yeah, just keep watching and subscribe, and I'll be making more videos soon.